गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीवन, कैसे हैं दोस्तों? गुड मॉर्निंग संजय, सौरभ, गुंजन, केशव, ईशांत, राहुल, लक्षिता, आयुषी, राहुल, आनंद, प्रिया। गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीवन। सोनाली, राहुल, रुचिता, अंशुल, श्रीनिधि, अवधेश, मंजुनाथ, गुंशिता, सर्वस्व, महकप्रीत, रितिका। गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीवन। One question is asking from your side daily, sir, how to present in the examination, presentation problem. तो बच्चों मैंने बोला भी था, I'm telling you again, today is Wednesday, next class on Friday and then class on Monday. In the class Monday, the Monday class will be a full lecture on presentation. So don't worry, but in these two classes, please complete the Indian Contract. Okay? मंडे को जो लेक्चर होगा 1 अगस्त को, उसमें पूरा लेक्चर से मैं इस पे लूंगा, कैसे प्रेजेंट करना है, एग्जांपल्स लेंगे, अपन डिस्कस करेंगे और चीजों को करेंगे। तो इसमें बहुत होने की जरूरत नहीं है। स्टार्ट करते हैं बच्चों एक रिवीजन से। डिस्चार्ज ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट मींस एंड ऑफ द कॉन्ट्रैक्चुअल लायबिलिटीज। लायबिलिटीज का खत्म होना इज कॉल्ड डिस्चार्ज ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट। इन अदर वर्ड्स, discharge of contract means a contract is said to be discharged when either of the party is no more liable to the contract. Way of discharge of contract: by performance, actual tender, by mutual consent, novation means new contract, rescission, cancellation by both the parties, alteration, change in the terms but parties are same, remission, then discount, waiver means 100% discount, merger of the inferior right in the superior right, by impossibility of performance, impossibility by destruction of subject matter, death or disablement for personal services, subsequent illegality, declaration of war and non-existence of a state of things, by operation of law. Please mark, it is compulsory in case of death, insolvency, merger or unauthorized alteration of the terms of written document. By breach of contract, anticipatory and actual. By lapse of time means contract becomes time bound. Contract which need not be performed. This question may be asked in your exam in direct question of 5 to 6 marks, 4, 5 or 6 marks. So please learn these points. If the parties mutually agree to substitute the original contract by new one, that is novation, resign, recession or alteration. If promisee dispense with or remits fully or in part the performance of promise made to or extend the time for such performance or accept any satisfaction for it. यानी कि किसी और तरीके से डिस्पेंस कर दिया गया, या तो उसका पार्ट पेमेंट कर दिया गया और बाकी के लिए टाइम ले लिया गया, या फिर कुछ और तरीके से सेटिस्फाई कर दिया गया। थर्ड वन, इफ द पर्सन एट हुज ऑप्शन द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट इज voidable, resigned it in case of voidable contract. If the promisee neglects or refuses, means a promiser want to perform but promisee is not interested to giving the proper facility to perform, or if it becomes illegal. ठीक है, so please prepare the sheet. Let's start the first question. An agreement to do an impossible act in itself is void, voidable, valid, illegal. A very simple question. Damodar bhai, please give the answer. The contract to do an impossible act is void. A contract containing an undertaking to do an impossible act is void ab initio, voidable, valid, illegal. So you have to select the best. The answer is A, void ab initio. Third, when after the formation of a valid contract, when after the formation of a valid contract, an event happens which makes the performance of contract impossible, the contract becomes void, voidable, valid, illegal. Again, a simple question. The answer is definitely void. Contract at the time of making was valid, but after, subsequently becomes impossible to perform, then it is void. A agreed to let a music hall to B for holding music show on certain dates. Before any show was organized, the music hall was destroyed in accidental fire. In this case, the contract becomes void and is discharged, voidable at the A's option, void but not discharged, voidable at B's option. Which is the best one? Kanish Sharma, what happened with you, beta? You are repeating 50 times your answer. What happened? There's something, I think there's some problem in your system. Please check कीजिए इसको. You need not to send the answers. The answer is void and is discharged because it is the destruction of subject matter. Fifth, A agreed to supply some goods to B, which were to be procured from C's factory. And due to strike in C's factory, A could not supply the goods. The contract is discharged, not discharged, becomes voidable only, becomes unlawful. The answer is not discharged because due to non-performed by third party, it is difficulty, it is commercial impossibility, contract will not be void. A agreed to supply certain goods to B, which were to be imported by C, but C failed to import the goods. In this case, the contract is discharged, not discharged, voidable, impossible to perform. About same question like 5, the answer is B, contract will not be discharged. A owed rupees 5,000 to B, A paid rupees 4,000 to B, and B accepted in full satisfaction. In this case, A discharged from his liability of rupees 5,000, A remains liable for the balance of 1,000. Contract becomes voidable at the B's option. A is discharged from his liability, but the contract is not discharged. The answer is A. A discharged from his liability of 5,000. This is a case of remission. Next, a money lender lends rupees 15,000 to B for his business purpose. Subsequently, A at his own informs B that he need not to pay the amount. Here, the contract is discharged by novation, satisfaction, performance, or waiver. The answer is waiver, full discount. A contract is discharged if it is not enforced within the limitation period prescribed by law. The limitation period for the recovery of loan amount is 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. It is 3 years. Last question. Failure by party to perform his obligation under the contract is known as breach of contract, failure of contract, performance of contract, none of these. The answer is breach of contract. I think there's some problem in question number 5 or 6, and I'm just taking. A agreed to supply some goods to B, which were to be procured from C factory. Due to strike in C factory, it could not supply the goods. The contract is not discharged. You have to select. Someone is saying, sir, it is voidable. The same question is example number 6. You have to select the best one, or according to the law, according to the act, the best option is not discharged. B is the best option. Okay. Waiver 100% discount. Same, Mr. Prasad, same is in point number 6. Best answer is not discharged. Okay, voidable may be the answer, but best answer in 4 options that not discharged. So how many got 10 on 10? Sanjay, very good. Breach of contract means, please wait, we will discuss today breach of contract and its remedies. Okay. Unit 5. Sir, what is the meaning of not discharge? Means liability will not end. Varda, congratulations. Manash, congratulations, bete. Harnoor, very good. Shivasri, very good. Ruchita, good, good, good. Bibhu, wow. Ibtisam Azmi, good morning, ma'am. आगे बढ़ते हैं. चलो भैया स्टार्ट करें. ओके, गुड मॉर्निंग. 3 दिन और चलना है आपको मुझे बस. ठीक है. The topic is breach of contract and its remedies. What are the breach of contract? What is the mean of breach of contract, and what are the remedies in case of breach of contract to the promisee? Okay, so we will discuss today. Breach of contract. In the last lecture we have discussed. I'm again repeating. Breach of contract means failure to perform the duty in the contract by the party. Failure of a party to perform his or her obligation under a contract. जब कोई कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में जो पार्टी की ड्यूटी होती है वो पूरा नहीं कर पाती है तो हम क्या बोलते हैं? ब्रीच ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. हाउ मेनी वेज फॉर ब्रीच ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट? Breach of contract may arise in 2 ways discussed in the last lecture: actual breach of contract and anticipatory breach of contract. Actual breach of contract means at the time of performance. One person is asking, sir, what is the meaning of remedies? ऐसे क्वेश्चन ना पूछा करो बच्चों, तो बहुत बेसिक क्वेश्चंस हैं. Actual breach of contract and anticipatory breach of contract. Actual breach of contract means deny to perform on the at the time of performance, or anticipatory means before the due date of performance. So we will discuss one by one. Actual breach of contract. Actual breach of contract may be committed to two ways. At the time when the performance of contract is due, मतलब जिस समय कॉन्ट्रैक्ट का परफॉर्मेंस ड्यू था उसी समय हमने क्या किया, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट को परफॉर्म करने से मना कर दिया. When the performance of contract is due, the promisor has denied to perform. A agrees to deliver 100 bags of sugar to B on 1st February 2012. On the said date, he failed to supply 100 bags of sugar to B. This is the actual breach. The breach has been committed by A at the time when the performance is due. During the performance of contract, actual breach of contract also occurs when during the performance of the contract one party fails to refuse to perform its obligation under it by express or implied act. For example, I have to teach 10 lectures for Indian Contract Act in the classes of ICI. And after 5 lectures, I have denied to perform. I have denied to teach. It means breach of contract during the performance. देखिए दो तरीके से होता है एक्चुअल ब्रीच, या तो जिस समय एग्जैक्टली हमें परफॉर्म करना है उसमें मना कर दें, या फिर हम ड्यूरिंग द परफॉर्मेंस मना करते हैं. काम शुरू हो गया, पूरा होने से पहले ही मना कर दिया. मैंने सपोज आईसीआई ने मुझे 10 लेक्चर दिए पढ़ाने के लिए फाउंडेशन के लॉ के. 5 लेक्चर के बाद मैं मना कर देता हूं, सर आई एम नॉट रेडी टू टीच, आई एम नॉट एबल टू टीच. सो दिस इज द ब्रीच ड्यूरिंग द परफॉर्मेंस. क्लियर इतनी बात? Lakshmi is asking, sir, your notes are enough for exam. Definitely, but you have to just plus add some points from study module for your convenience. But my notes covered full concept of the Indian Contract Act. Okay, लेकिन आपको मॉड्यूल पढ़ना है पूरा, तो मॉड्यूल से जो आपके नोट्स हैं, कुछ आपको ऐड करना है, कुछ चीज मिस हो गई, वो समरी है. जो नोट्स जो है मेरे एक तरीके से व्यू है, ओवरव्यू है, तो आप उसमें ऐड कर सकते हैं अपनी कन्वीनियंस के लिए. Harnoor Kaur is asking, sir, can ICI sue for this? Definitely, if I have contact with ICI for 10 lectures and after 5 lectures I deny to perform, I make the breach of contract, so ICI can sue on me. भाई ऐसे मत बोलो, शुभ शुभ बोलो यार, क्यों ऐसा कह रहे हो? हरनूर बेटा ऐसा नहीं बोलते, क्यों शुभ शुभ बोल, क्यों मेरे को परेशान कर रही है? Anticipatory means before due date. We have discussed in the last lecture when a party repudiates means deny it before the time fixed for performance. See the example where A contracts with B on 15th July 2020 to supply 10 bales of cotton for a specified sum on 14th August 2020. Contract was on 15th July and performance to be done on 14th August. But on 30th July, be informed that he will not be able to supply the said cotton on 14th August. There is express rejection of the contract. That is the case of anticipatory breach of contract. Consequences of anticipatory breach. The promisee may either, two options. Remember, 2 options. What are the options? Either it can resign on and treat the contract as end and once sue for damage, or he may elect not to resign but to treat the contract operative and wait for the time of performance and then hold the party liable for the consequence for non-performance. So to understand these 2 points, first we have to understand this example. Then we will come again on this point. Please read this example. Example number 3. X agrees to sell to Y a certain quantity of wheat at rupees 100 per quintal to be delivered on 3rd March. On 2nd February, X gives notice expressing his unwillingness to sell wheat, and the price of wheat on that date is 110 per quintal. If X repudiates the contract forthwith, he would be able to recover damages at rupees 10 per quintal. If instead of taking the action forthwith, he keeps the contract alive till the 3rd March, and in the meantime, the price increases 125 per quintal on that date. Now, Y would be able to recover damage at 25 per quintal. Please understand this example. This example will definitely clear the concept of anticipatory breach. X agreed to sell Y the certain quantity of wheat at rupees 100 per quintal on 3rd March. But before the due date of performance, that is on 2nd February, he informs Y that he will not supply the goods as per the contract on the due date. On 2nd February, the price of the wheat was 110 per quintal. As Y knew the attitude of Mr. X that he will not supply the goods, he has two options. Y has two options. Either he take it the contract as repudiated, resigned by Mr. X, and file the suit against Mr. X at rupees 10 per quintal. Because the agreed price was 100, but on that date the actual price is 110. So first, Y have to purchase the wheat at 100, but as the breach of contract by Mr. X, Y has to purchase the wheat at rupees 110. So there is a loss of rupees 10 per quintal to Y. Now Y can claim rupees 10 from Mr. X if he opt to file the suit on 2nd February. But in place, Y decide to hold the contract as operative until the 3rd February, and then he filed the suit against Mr. X for the damages. On that date, the price is 125. So now he can claim the rupees 125 minus 100, that is 25 per quintal. But if the price on 3rd March reduced to 108, in that case, Y can claim only rupees 8 per quintal. इतनी बात X और Y के बीच में कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हुआ कि X 100 रुपए क्विंटल के हिसाब से गेहूं सप्लाई करेगा 3 मार्च को, लेकिन 3 मार्च से पहले 2 फरवरी को X ने Y को इन्फॉर्म किया, भैया मेरे पास गेहूं नहीं है, मैं सप्लाई नहीं कर पाऊंगा। अब 2 फरवरी को जब X ने मना किया तो Y के पास दो ऑप्शन, या तो वो उसी दिन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट को खत्म मान ले और सूट फाइल कर दे X के ऊपर, या 3 मार्च जो एक्चुअल ड्यू डेट थी तब तक वेट करे और 3 मार्च को फाइल। लेकिन कॉम्पनसेशन कितना मिलेगा ये उस दिन पर डिसाइड करेगा जिस दिन वो सूट फाइल करे। अगर 2 फरवरी को रेट 110 रुपए थी, भाई 100 रुपए कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हुआ, वाई को 100 में माल मिलता, अब मिलेगा कितने में, 110 रुपए में, तो वाई कितना क्लेम कर सकता है, 10 रुपए पर क्विंटल के हिसाब से। लेकिन अगर 3 मार्च को सूट फाइल करता है तो 3 मार्च को रेट हो गई 125 रुपए, अब वो कितना क्लेम कर सकता है, 25 रुपए। सपोज 3 मार्च को रेट 108 रुपए रह गई तो वो केवल 8 रुपए क्विंटल के हिसाब से ही कॉम्पनसेशन क्लेम। सपोज 2 फरवरी को उसने सूट फाइल नहीं किया, वेट किया 3 मार्च तक, लेकिन इसी बीच में प्राइवेट सेल सरकार ने रोक लगा दी, तो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट तो चेंज इन लॉ के ऊपर वॉइड हो गया, अब वाई कुछ भी क्लेम नहीं कर सकता। सपोज Y has not filed the suit on 2nd February and decide to wait up to the 3rd March. But during this period, government has made a change in law and restricted the private sale of wheat. Now, in that case, the contract is automatically void because of change in law. Now, Y cannot claim anything from Mr. X. If on the other hand, during the intervening period between 2nd February and 3rd March, private sale of wheat is prohibited by the government, the contract would be void and Y would not be able to recover any damage, whatever. Clear? Now please come to the points. Consequences of anticipatory breach. The promisee may either resign, we have discussed the contract, and on that date, and treat the contract as an end and sue for damages. B, he may elect not to resign the contract but to treat the contract operative and wait for the time of performance and then hold the party liable for consequences for non. Clear इतनी बात? चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. Now, what are the remedies? What are the remedies? What are the options available to the promisee? Promisee के पास क्या-क्या रास्ते हैं जब promiser contract को breach करता है? What are the options available? Mr. LP Thangal Mastan is saying, sir, please tell me my name. What will happen यार? कैसी बात कर रहे हैं? Sandhya sir, will you teach us whole syllabus? I think I will teach you Contract Act and LLP. Sudhanshu sir, in example, Y repudiates the contract so X will receive damages if there is loss to X. I have discussed in the last class, bete. Sir, in example 3, if on 3rd March the value of wheat is 90 per quintal, how much amount can Y recover from X? No, if the value is come down, then Y will never reject. X will never reject because he will purchase at 90 and sell to the sale at rupees 100. So there is no question of compensation on Y side. हिंदी में बता दिया बेटे मैंने, अब तो हिंदी में समझा रहा हूँ. Sir, what if the price reduced to 98? I have discussed beta. Mr. Elfi Thangal. So beta, I am repeating in Hindi only. I am first explaining in English, then I am repeating in Hindi. Don't worry. Stuti is saying, sir, can we file the suit on 12th February? But as per the law, language of law, we can, he's only 2 options to file on 2nd February or 3rd March. Mr. Manash, in the starting of the class, I told you the Monday lecture will be on presentation, how to write in exam. So don't worry, beta. आगे बढ़ते हैं. Suit for damages, recession of contract, suit upon quantum merit, suit for specific performance, and suit for injection. So we will discuss one by one. First, suit for damages means suit for compensation. Monetary compensation is called damage, right? Let's see. Monetary compensation awarded to person is called compensation or damages, right? Types of damages. First is ordinary damages. Please note down in your notebook. Ordinary damages means compensation equal to the loss. Compensation equal to the loss. Okay. When compensation or damages equal to the loss, it is called ordinary damages. Ordinary damages are those which naturally arise in usual course of things from such breach. The measure of ordinary damages is the difference between the contract price and the market price at the date of breach. In the previous example, rupees 10, if the contract is decided to be filed in the court on 12th February, then the 10 rupees will be the ordinary damage. See the example number 4. A contract to deliver 100 tons of oil at rupees 1000 per ton on a future date. On the due date, he refuses to deliver. The price on that day and the price on that day is rupees 1100. Okay. The measure of damage is difference between the market price, that is 1100 minus 1000, that is rupees 100. That will be 100 for 100 tons. The total compensation is 10,000 rupees. Just a moment, better. देखिए कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हुआ 100 टन ऑयल को डिलीवर करने का 1000 रुपए के रेट से, लेकिन ड्यू डेट पर जब उसने डिनाई कर दिया, ब्रीच हो गया कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, उस समय प्राइस 1100 था, तो नुकसान कितना हुआ? 100 रुपीज पर टन का फॉर 100 टन। तो टोटल कॉम्पनसेशन, टोटल डैमेजेस कितने हुए? 10,000। क्लियर इतनी बात? नेक्स्ट, that is very important note, the note of rupees 2000. That is very important note. Please mark as important for your examination point of view. The practical question, descriptive question can be asked on this point. Compensation cannot be claimed for any remote or indirect loss or damage by reason of the breach. Saying the compensation is for actual loss, but not for indirect loss. So what is the indirect loss? See the example, it will be clear. A railway passenger wife caught cold and fell ill due to her being asked to get down at a place other than the railway station, and she had to walk a long distance in the cold night to reach the home. In a suit by the plaintiff means the person who filed the suit, against the railway company, it was held that damages for personal inconvenience of the plaintiff alone would be granted, but not for the sickness of the plaintiff wife. What is the meaning of, what is the concept of example? See, one lady was asked to get down from the railway, but that is not a railway station, in the cold night because of some technical problem in the train, right? The lady has to walk a long distance to get the home or get the shelter. In such a, and the lady got cold, become sick due to the weather. Now she can claim only for inconvenience, not for sickness. एक लेडी को रेलवे ने उतार दिया ट्रेन से, कोई टेक्निकली प्रॉब्लम आ गई ट्रेन में, कोई भी रीजन, और उस लेडी को लंबा रास्ता ठंड में ठंड रास्ता पार करना पड़ा, जिससे वो बीमार हो गई। तो कोर्ट ने कहा, जब लेडी ने सूट फाइल किया तो कोर्ट ने कहा, भैया देखो ऐसा है, आपको जो पर्सनल इनकन्वीनियंस हुई, आप चल के गई, आपको कोई टैक्सी हायर करनी, वॉट एवर द रीजन, वो तो आप क्लेम कर सकते हैं, लेकिन आप बीमार हो गए वो आप क्लेम नहीं कर सकते, ये इनडायरेक्ट लॉस। So compensation can be claimed for direct loss only, not for remote or any indirect loss. Please read the example 5 once again, बच्चों. Special damages. Special damages are not direct, not in proportion of the loss. Special damages are not in the proportion of loss, but decided at the time of contract. Damages other than those from the breach of contract may be recovered if damages were decided at the time of making the contract. These can be claimed only if the special circumstances which would result in a special loss in case of breach of contract are brought to the notice of the other party. Clear? ये वो लॉस है जो लॉस, ये वो कॉम्पनसेशन है जो लॉस से डायरेक्टली कनेक्टेड नहीं है, लेकिन ये डिसाइड हो गए थे एट द टाइम ऑफ मेकिंग द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. These are decided at the time of making the contract. So they can be claimed. See, in example number 6, a builder contract to erect a house for B by 1st January in order that B may give possession of it at that time to C, to whom B has contracted to let it. A is informed of the contract between B and C. A built the house so badly that before the 1st January it falls down and has to be rebuilt by B, who in consequence loses the rent which he was to have received from C and is obliged to make the compensation to C for breach of contract. Now, A must make compensation to B for the cost of rebuilding the house, for the rent lost, and for the compensation made to C. So what was in this example? There is a contract between A and B. A is builder, so A will construct a house for B, right? Up to 1st January. Clear? There was one contract with Mr. B and C. There was one contract between Mr. B and C that after the construction, that is on 1st January, B will give the house to C on rent to C. Clear? And this contract was informed to Mr. A. B has informed Mr. A, sir, please complete the house up to 1st January because I have a contract with Mr. C to give the house on rent to him. Okay. But what happened? A builds the house so badly. A builds the house so badly that before the 1st January, it falls down and B has to rebuild the house. Now what happened? B has to incur the cost for rebuilding. He has to lose the rent, and C again filed the suit against Mr. B, and B have to compensate C. So there are 3 losses to B. 1, rebuilding cost, loss of rent, and the compensation which was given to C. And the contract between B and C is informed to A already. Even that A could not complete the house or could not perform according to the contract, now B can claim 3 items, that is the rebuilding cost, second rent loss, and compensation made for C. Now question arises, sir, what happened if B does not inform? What happened if B does not inform A about his contract with C? In that case, B can claim only the rebuilding cost. He cannot claim rent lost, और he cannot claim the compensation which is given to C. एक बिल्डर है A, उसका कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हुआ किससे बच्चों? B से, कि A घर बनाएगा B के लिए और 1 जनवरी तक वो कंप्लीट कर देगा. इसी बीच में B ने C से कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कर लिया कि भैया मैं आपको घर किराए पर दे दूंगा, मेरा घर बन जाएगा. और B ने ये बात A को बता दी कि भैया मेरा कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है C से कि मुझे 1 जनवरी को घर इसको किराए पे देना है. A ने कहा ओके, राइट. अब घर तो बना लेकिन वो इतना खराब बना कि वो गिर गया. B को क्या करना पड़ा? उसे दोबारा बनवाना पड़ा, उसमें खर्चा हुआ, प्लस C को वो टाइमली घर नहीं दे पाया तो रेंट का लॉस हुआ, और C ने सूट फाइल भी कर दिया क्योंकि B अपना कॉन्ट्रैक्ट पूरा नहीं कर पाया, राइट. तो B को क्या क्या नुकसान हुआ? कॉस्ट लगी उसकी बनवाने में, दूसरा उसका रेंट चला गया, तीसरा जो C ने सूट फाइल किया उसका कॉम्पनसेशन पड़ा, क्योंकि B ने ये बात इन्फॉर्म कर दी थी पहले से ही A को कि भैया मेरा कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है C से, इसलिए A क्या करेगा? A को पूरा कॉम्पनसेशन देना पड़ेगा, यानी कि तीनों चीज देनी पड़ेंगी B को, रिबिल्डिंग कॉस्ट, रेंट लॉस्ट एंड द कॉम्पनसेशन टू C. क्लियर इतनी बात? सर अगर मान लीजिए B ने इन्फॉर्म नहीं किया होता तो क्या होता? B ने A को ये नहीं बताया होता कि इसका कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है C के साथ, तो इस केस में बी केवल रीबिल्डिंग करने में जो खर्चा आया वही क्लेम कर सकता है, बाकी जो रेंट लॉस हुआ या जो कॉम्पनसेशन सी को देना पड़ा वो क्लेम नहीं कर। ठीक है, नेक्स्ट है लायबिलिटी टू पे विंडिक्टिव और एग्जाम्पलरी डैमेजेस। द क्वेश्चन हैज बीन आस्क्ड मेनी टाइम्स from your side, sir, what is the meaning of vindictive? Even each batch everyone asks, sir, what is the meaning of vindictive, what is the meaning of exemplary? See, only in two cases vindictive or exemplary damages are given, because court thinks in these cases we cannot measure the loss, so we just giving the compensation according to our knowledge or our estimations. That is two cases for breach of promise to marry and wrongful dishonor by the bank of customer check. If bank make the dishonor of the check, wrongly dishonor, so there is loss of reputation of the customer. So what is the measurement of the loss of reputation? No measurement. In this case, court allow vindictive damages. There are two cases only: breach of promise to marry and wrongful dishonor by the bank of its customer check. Liability to pay nominal damages. Nominal damages means something very nominal. Nominal damages are awarded where the plaintiff has provided there has been a breach of contract, but he has not in fact suffered any loss. It is just awarded. It is just awarded to establish the right of to decree. Decree means order of the court for the breach of contract. The amount of compensation may be of rupees 10 paisa. For example, see, let's say Mr. Kuldeep filed the suit against Mr. Likhit. Mr. Kuldeep filed the suit against Mr. Likhit that for just because the dog of Likhit was make the shit at or just bark before the Kuldeep. कुलदीप ने सूट फाइल किया किसके ऊपर? लिखित के ऊपर कि लिखित का कुत्ता मेरे घर पर भौंक गया, मेरी रेपुटेशन खराब हो गई. तो दिस इज नॉट द एक्चुअल लॉस. द कोर्ट will award it only the nominal damages just for say to calm the ego, right? A firm, see the example, a firm consisting of 4 partners employed B for a period of 2 years. After 6 months, 2 partners retired. The business being carried on by the other 2. B declined to be employed under the continuing partners, held he was only entitled to claim nominal damages as he had suffered no loss. एक फर्म में 4 पार्टनर थे, बी 2 साल से काम कर रहा था, 6 महीने बाद 2 पार्टनर छोड़ चले गए. बी ने कहा भाई मैं इन 2 के संग काम नहीं कर सकता. तो बी को लॉस क्या हुआ? कुछ नहीं. अब बी को क्या मिला? केवल नॉमिनल डैमेजेस अगर उसने कोई सूट फाइल किया, राइट? Damages for deterioration caused by delay. If just for example courier surveys, carrier surveys, in this case the deterioration caused to goods by delay, damages can be recovered from carrier even without notice. Please mark, damages can be claimed even without notice. The word deterioration not only implies physical damage to the goods, but also it may means a loss of special opportunity for sale. भैया देरी की वजह से जो नुकसान हुआ उसके लिए कॉम्पनसेशन क्लेम किया जा सकता है. जरूरी नहीं है देरी की वजह से फिजिकल नुकसान हुआ हो, कोई अपॉर्चुनिटी मिस हो गई उससे कोई लॉस हुआ, उसके लिए भी कॉम्पनसेशन क्लेम किया जा सकता है. सीधा एग्जांपल, ए परचेज अ वेलवेट फॉर मेकिंग कैप्स फॉर सेल ड्यूरिंग स्प्रिंग सीजन. Due to delay in transit, he was unable to utilize the benefit of season. Held that the fall in the value of cloth arrived after season amounted to the deterioration for which A was entitled to recover damages from the carrier. A ने कुछ वेलवेट फनील खरीदी कि वो टोपियां बनाएगा स्प्रिंग के सीजन के लिए. लेकिन वो टाइमली नहीं मिल पाया, उस वजह से क्या हुआ, स्प्रिंग के बाद उसकी कीमत कम हो गई और नुकसान हो गया। ये नुकसान हुआ वो किस वजह से हुआ, क्योंकि तो माल टाइम पे सप्लाई नहीं हो पाया। इसके लिए वो कॉम्पनसेशन क्लेम कर सकता है कैरियर सर्विस, राइट। Now concept is liquidated damages and penalty. So first we have to understand this screen, then we will come. Two things, two concepts we will discuss in the next 5 to 10 minutes. That is liquidated damages and penalty. Liquidated damages means, in simple language, the actual loss, and penalty is compensation over the actual loss, right? लिक्विड डैमेज होता है जितना नुकसान हुआ वो हम क्लेम करें, जो लॉजिकल है वो से हम क्या बोलेंगे, लिक्विडेटेड डैमेजेस। और इसके ऊपर कुछ क्लेम करें तो दैट इज कॉल्ड पेनल्टी, राइट। आई हैव यू हैव 3 dates बिफोर यू, 1st January 2021, 1st April 2021 and 1st July 2021. On 1st January 2021, Mr. X has taken a loan from Mr. Y of rupees 1000, which to be paid with interest of 10%, that is 100 rupees, on 1st April 2021. A contract between X and Y. X has taken a loan of rupees 1000 from Mr. Y, which to be paid with interest of 10% on 1st April 2021. So 1st January on which contract was entered is called date of contract or date of bond. On 1st April, on which payment has to be done is called due date of payment. But X does not pay on due date, but actually pay on 1st July 2021. That is the actual date of payment. On 1st April 2021, which is the due date for payment, and the payment was not made, so it becomes the date of default, right? 1 जनवरी 2021 को X ने लोन लिया Y से एक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के जरिए, और 1000 रुपए का वो रीपेमेंट होना था 1 अप्रैल को, 3 महीने बाद, विद 10% इंटरेस्ट पर, दैट इज 100 रुपीज जो ड्यू डेट थी। और एक्चुअली पेमेंट कब हुआ, 1 अप्रैल 2021 को, तो क्या कहलाई वो एक्चुअल डेट ऑफ पेमेंट। क्लियर इतनी बात? See, the amount of interest from the date of payment is normal loss. It means he can claim 1100. But actually payment was made on 1st July after 3 months of the due date. So again 10% interest can be claimed from the due date to the actual date. It means from this date to this date, if actual interest, that is the again 10% on 1100 compound interest, 10% interest on 1000 simple interest for this period in which payment has not been paid, can be claimed. In logic hai, it is logical, interest should be there because payment should be done on 1st April, but actually done on 1st July, it should be the payment, right? So this is called the in payment of interest from the due date of payment or date of default to the actual payment is the normal loss, is the normal compensation. What loss is? A condition for payment of interest in case of default is not in the nature of penalty if the interest is reasonable. It means it is the liquidated damage. अगर इंटरेस्ट जो चार्ज की जा रही है वो लॉजिकल है, नॉर्मल है, तो उसे हम क्या बोलेंगे? पेनल्टी नहीं बोलेंगे, लिक्विडेटेड डैमेज बोलेंगे। यानी कि 1 अप्रैल 2021 को पेमेंट होना था, लेकिन पेमेंट किया 1 अप्रैल 2021, 1 जुलाई 2021 को, 3 महीने बाद। तो अगर वो 3 महीने का इंटरेस्ट चार्ज कर रहा है, चाहे वो सिंपल इंटरेस्ट हो या कंपाउंड इंटरेस्ट हो। सिंपल इंटरेस्ट मींस 10% ऑन द 1000, कंपाउंड इंटरेस्ट मींस 10% ऑन द 11000। लॉजिकल है बिल्कुल भी, 10%, क्योंकि रेट हमारी 10% थी। इट इज द liquidated damage, not penalty. A condition for increased interest from the date of bond, means 1st January 2021 and not from the date of default, is always in the nature of penalty, and relief is granted against it. It means he is charging interest from this date to this date. So the double interest for this period is in the nature of penalty, but for this period in the nature of damages, right? अगर वो इंटरेस्ट 1 जनवरी से चार्ज करता है पूरे जुलाई तक की, तो जो फर्स्ट 3 महीने हैं उनका नेचर क्या है? पेनल्टी नेचर है, और कोर्ट क्या करेगी? इसके अगेंस्ट रिलीफ कर। A condition in a bond for payment of compound interest on the failure to pay the simple interest at the same rate, 10% was payable upon the principal is not the penalty. It means if the interest charges for the period from 1st April 2021 to 1st July 2021, whether simple or whether compound, but same rate as was decided in the contract, is in the nature of damages, liquidated damages, not the penalty. अगर इंटरेस्ट चार्ज हो रही है 1 अप्रैल 2021 से 1 जुलाई 2021 तक के पीरियड के लिए, चाहे वो सिंपल हो चाहे वो कंपाउंड हो, ये सेम रेट पर चार्ज हो रही है, तो इसे हम क्या बोलेंगे बच्चों? लिक्विडेटेड डैमेजेस। A condition in a bond for payment of compound interest at a higher rate then the simple interest is the nature of penalty and would be relief. It means if the person is charging interest for this period means 1st April 2021 to 1st July 2021 at the rate of 12% in place of 10%, then 2% is in the nature of penalty and 10% in the nature of liquid damage. 1 अप्रैल से 1 जुलाई तक आप सेम रेट पे चार्ज कर रहे हैं तो वो पेनल्टी नहीं कहलाएगी, लेकिन आप ज्यादा चार्ज कर रहे हैं, सपोज 10 की जगह पर 12% चार्ज कर रहे हैं, तो ये क्या कहलाएगी बेटे? 2% पेनल्टी कहलाएगी, और कोर्ट हमेशा पेनल्टी के अगेंस्ट रिलीफ ग्रांट करता है, राइट? सी, liquidated damages represent a sum fixed or ascertained by the parties in the contract, which is a fair and genuine pre-estimate of probable loss that the might ensure as a result of the breach. If it takes place, a penalty is a sum named in the contract at the time of its formation, which is disproportionate, which is not as per the damages, like to accrue as a result of breach, court may relief against the penalty. जो एक्चुअल लॉस होता है उतना हम चार्ज कर रहे हैं तो वो क्या कहलाता है? लिक्विडेटेड डैमेजेस, और इससे ऊपर चार्ज कर रहे हैं जो कनेक्टेड नहीं है लॉस से, वो क्या कहलाते हैं? पेनल्टी। And English law, there is no penalty concept. Penalty is cannot be claimed as per the English law. I think you need not to learn this. I just understand. So you have to understand what I've discussed better. You have to know what I've discussed. Liquid damages means actual loss. Over the liquid damages called penalty, and relief is always given against the penalty by the court. So before starting the second point, we should have the break of 5 minutes, but I'm taking your queries. Then after 5 minutes, we will rejoin. Sir, suppose there is a contract between government and Mr. X to lease coal mine for 5 years and the date of performance government breach. So can Mr. Sue the government? Definitely. In case of two parties, even if the government make the breach of contract, person can file the suit. for compensation. Vindictive damages that can be claimed in that position where loss cannot be measured. There's only two cases: breach in the contract of marriage and dishonor of the check by the bank. Wait, there is only single super over today, so please wait. So take the break at this point for 5 minutes. We will join after 5 minutes. Amit ji, please give the break. Okay. Okay. One problem from your side, Miss Srinidhi. Sir, can he sue after due date? Is it mandatory to sue before the due date only? No. The suit can be filed after the due date, but within reasonable time. That is not possible if you file the suit after the breach in after 5 years. It is not good. Plaintiff means the person who filed the suit. Muddai. Sir, is there proper language knowledge of law in exam? I think the language must be that the concept can be clear, should be clear to the examiner. What do you want to say? So, recession of contract. Where a contract is broken by one party, the other party may treat the contract as resigned. In such case, he becomes free from all the obligation under the contract and is entitled for compensation. Entitled for compensation for any damages that he might have suffered. One party resigned the contract, say I will not perform. Other party agree, but other party can claim the compensation if there is any loss to other party. C. A promises B to deliver 50 bags of cement on certain day. B agrees to pay the amount on receipt of the good. A failed to deliver the cement on the appointed day. Now B is discharged from his liability to pay the price. अगर दो लोगों के बीच में कॉन्ट्रैक्ट होता है, एक पर्सन परफॉर्म करने की मना कर देता है, दूसरा कहता है ओके मत करो, लेकिन अगर दूसरे को इस बात से लॉस हुआ है तो वो पहले से कॉम्पनसेशन क्लेम कर सकता है. इन एग्जांपल नंबर 9, ए ने प्रॉमिस किया बी को कि 50 बैग सीमेंट की सप्लाई करेगा, लेकिन जिस दिन ड्यू डेट थी उसने कहा सर मैं सप्लाई नहीं कर पाऊंगा. बी ने कहा ओके मत करो सप्लाई, लेकिन क्या बी को पेमेंट करने की लायबिलिटी है? आंसर क्लियर. Next is suit for quantum marriage. Suit for quantum merit. Quantum merit means as much as earned. जितना काम हो गया उतने का पेमेंट कर दो. The phrase quantum merit literally means as much as earned or according to the quantity of work done. The claim on quantum merit must be brought by the party who is not at default. However, in certain cases, the party in default may also sue for the work done if the contract is divisible. See, the quantum merit means how much work done can be claimed. Lekin the defaulting party cannot claim the compensation, other party can claim. But if the work is divisible, law says if the work is divisible, in that case, the party in default can also claim the compensation. See the concept. Following are the cases in which a claim or quantum merit may arise. First, where an agreement is discovered to be void. It means when work was started, the contract was valid and some work has been done. After that, it becomes void. So the person who has worked so much work, he can claim the compensation for it. If an agreement is discovered to be void or becomes void, any person who has received any advantage under such agreement is bound to restore or to make the compensation for it to the person from whom he has received. Means कि अगर मान लीजिए कॉन्ट्रैक्ट जब हुआ तब वो वैलिड था, काम भी शुरू हो गया, परफॉर्मेंस शुरू हो गई, पर थोड़ी सी परफॉर्मेंस हो पाई, उसके बाद कोई रीजन आया, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट क्या हो गया, वॉइड हो गया, तो जितना काम हो गया उतने के लिए तो कॉम्पनसेशन क्लेम किया जा सकता. सपोज बिल्डर हैज स्टार्टेड द वर्क, मिस्टर ए हैज स्टार्टेड द बिल्डिंग वर्क फॉर बी. Mr. A has started the building work for B. After some work was completed, there is a legal notice, there is a change in law by which construction could not be continued. But because some work has been done, there was no fault on the part of A. A can claim the compensation from B. A ने कुछ कंस्ट्रक्शन वर्क शुरू किया बी के लिए, लेकिन क्या हुआ, थोड़ा सा काम हुआ, उसके बाद कोर्ट का ऑर्डर आ गया कि भाई ये गवर्नमेंट का लॉ चेंज हो गया कि आप ये काम कंटिन्यू नहीं कर सकते. तो ए ने तो कुछ काम किया ना भाई, तो वो ए वो कॉम्पनसेशन बी से क्लेम कर सकता. See the example number 10. A agrees to deliver 100 kg of rice to B at a price of 40 per kg. Okay. The rice were to be delivered in 2 installments, 50 kg each. A delivered the first installment but failed to supply the second due to some unavoidable reason. So B has to make the payment of 50 bags. A ने B से कॉन्टेक्ट किया कि A B को 100 किलो चावल सप्लाई करेगा 2 इंस्टॉलमेंट में 50-50 किलो. एक 50 किलो सप्लाई किया, लेकिन कुछ ऐसा रीजन आया अनअवॉइडेबल जिसको हम अवॉइड ही नहीं कर सकते. जो सेकंड 50 केजी है वो सप्लाई नहीं हुआ, लेकिन जितना हुआ उसके लिए बी को कॉम्पनसेशन देना पड़ेगा. Where something is done or delivered without intention to do gratuitously. Gratuitously means free of cost. Where a person does some act or delivers something to another person with the intention of receiving payment, for the same, in such a case, the other person is bound to make the payment if he accepts such services or goods or enjoyed their benefits. See the example. A trader leaves the goods at B's place by mistake. B treats it as its own. Now B is bound to make the compensation to A. So what B point is saying, actually, if someone gives something for compensation, for consideration, let's see, there was a puri bhaji wala selling puri bhaji before the temple. Yeah, may say some person is selling soda, dosa before the temple, but one person think it is free of cost, just like bhandara, and takes the dosa. But whether the seller of the dosa has any intention to give it on free, the answer is no. Now, if B has taken let's say person who has taken the dosa thinking that it is free, he has to make the payment. Suppose एक मंदिर के बाहर एक डोसा वाला डोसा बेच रहा था, मिस्टर बी पहुंचने में लगा है तो भंडारा है, फ्री में बट रहा होगा, जबकि जो बेचने वाला था उसकी ऐसी कोई इंटेंशन नहीं थी. बी ने डोसा लिया, ये नहीं कहा कि मैं पूछा नहीं उसने कुछ भी और डोसा ले लिया. क्या बी पैसे देने के लायबिल है? आंसर इज यस, क्योंकि डोसे वाले की कोई ऐसी इंटेंशन नहीं थी कि वो उसे फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट दे. एक्चुअली दिस इज द केस ऑफ क्वासी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, where the contract is divisible. Divisible means part can be done. Where the contract is divisible and one party has enjoyed the benefit of part performance, then other party may sue on the quantum merit. The other party can sue for the compensation. C. X wrongfully revoked Y his agent authority before Y could complete his duties. X wrongfully revoked Y's authority. Y is the agent of Mr. X before Y could complete duties. Now Y could recover as quantum merit for the work he has done and expenses he had incurred in the course of his duty as the agent. What is the case? There was a contract with Mr. X and Y in which Y will work as an agent and get compensation for it. But X wrongfully revoked the authority of X. It means the contract comes to end, but Y can claim. What is claimed? For as per quantum merit, can claim the compensation for work has been done by him, and also if any expenses was incurred by Y for doing the X work, he can claim. एक्स और वाई, एक्स ने वाई को एजेंट अपॉइंट किया कुछ काम करने के लिए, कुछ कॉम्पनसेशन डिसाइड हुआ, लेकिन क्या हुआ कि वाई कुछ जो काम कंप्लीट होना था उससे पहले ही एक्स ने उसे एजेंसी से हटा दिया कि आप एजेंट नहीं हो मेरे। तो वाई जितना काम हो गया उतना कॉम्पनसेशन ले सकता है, साथ में अगर कोई खर्चे किए उसने वाई के काम करते हुए वाई की वजह से, तो वो खर्चे भी क्लेम कर सकता है। नेक्स्ट इज सूट फॉर स्पेसिफिक परफॉर्मेंस। Divisible, Ruchita, divisible means part. I think you must be clear what is the meaning of divisible. Suit for specific performance. These specific performance are granted in specific situations. First, and I think this is the only situation where the damages, any monetary damages, monetary compensation are not an adequate remedy. So please note the specific performance can be claimed only if the monetary compensation is not an adequate remedy. Where the damages are not an adequate remedy, in the case of breach of contract, the court may, in its discretion, on a suit for specific performance, direct party in breach to carry out his promise according to the terms of the. It means the monetary, one party makes the breach of contract, the other party makes the claim the compensation, but monetary compensation cannot be given in particular case. In such case, court will decide that a specific performance should be done. For example, I have booked a room in a hotel, but when I reached the hotel, I found the booking was cancelled as there was no room in the hotel. So hotel manager says, hotel owner says, I will make the compensation for it because I have taken the booking from your side. But I told there is no room in any other hotel. So I have to check in this hotel. Now the hotel owner has to provide me any room, even of the higher cost, because monetary compensation is not sufficient for me because I don't found any room in any hotel surrounding there. Clear इतनी बात? But important part, please mark is that important. Specific performance not granted where. The question may be asked in your exam that in what situations specific performance could not be granted. First, where monetary compensation is an adequate relief, where contract is of personal nature, that is contract of marriage. It is not possible for the court to supervise performance of the court, for example, construction work. Contract is ultra vires. Ultra vires means beyond the object of the company. Company के object के beyond है. See, these are the 4 cases where specific performance grant नहीं होगा. पहला, जहां पर monetary compensation sufficient है. दूसरा, जहां पर पर्सनल नेचर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है कि सपोज ए ने बी से शादी करने कॉन्ट्रैक्ट किया, बी ने सी से कर ली. अब इस पे परफॉर्मेंस कैसे हो सकता है? पॉसिबल ही नहीं है. या कोर्ट के लिए पॉसिबल ना हो कि वो सुपरवाइज कर ले प्रॉपर कि भैया जो मैंने कहा था ये काम हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है. तीसरा, अगर कोई भी काम कंपनी क्या होता है, वी हैव डिस्कस इन द यूनिट नंबर 3 that corporation has their separate laws in the form of Companies Act or memo, separate laws in the form of Companies Act or memorandum of association. So anything cannot be done beyond this Companies Act or MOA. MOA means memorandum of association. Anything done beyond this MOA is void as per the company. If company do anything beyond the MOA, it is always a void. So if the contract is ultra vires, specific performance cannot be granted. Please note down. Suit for injunction. Please note the meaning of injunction. Injunction means stay order. Means stay order. If someone is supplying or performing not as per the contract, then other party can take the injunction order from the court. Where a party to a contract negating the terms of a contract, where a party to the contract is negating the terms of the contract, the court may by issue an injunction order, stay order, restrain him from doing what he promised not to. It means if something is doing as per which is not as per the contract, the stay order can be taken from the court. See, and a film star agreed to act exclusively for a particular producer for 1 year, right? During the year, he contracted to act for some other producer during this period. Now, he could be restrained by injunction. It means the court can make the stay order against that star to not to do the work with other producer. Clear? एक फिल्म स्टार है एंड उसने कॉन्ट्रैक्ट किया कि वो ए के साथ ही काम करेगा 1 साल तक, मगर 1 साल के अंदर उसने बी के साथ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कर लिया, तो क्या होगा, वो स्टे ऑर्डर ले लेगा, कौन, ए स्टे ऑर्डर ले किसके अगेंस्ट, एन के अगेंस्ट, कि वो बी के साथ काम ना करे. Example number 14, one more example on this point. A singer agreed with B to perform at his theater for 2 months on the condition that during this period she would not perform anywhere. In this case, B could move to the court for grant of injunction restraining A from performing in other. एक सिंगर ने कॉन्ट्रैक्ट किया बी के साथ कि वो 2 महीने तक उसी के थिएटर में परफॉर्म करेगी, लेकिन अगर वो कहीं और परफॉर्म करती है तो बी कोर्ट से स्टे ऑर्डर दैट इज इंजंक्शन ले सकता है. क्लियर बच्चों? स्टे ऑर्डर मींस नॉट टू डू द वर्क. सो दिस इज द टाइम ऑफ सुपर ओवर. This is the time of super over. Before super over, I am taking some queries. Sir, in the example one, is it so because B has already paid for the rights, or if not paid? I am not understanding better. Harnoor, what do you want to ask? Please write in detail. Individual contract means which cannot be part, which cannot be in part. Stay order means order to stay the work, रोकने के लिए order pass करना. I think before start super over, we just have a fast revision of what we have discussed. First, remedies for breach of contract. Recession of contract means termination, but other party can claim the compensation for damages, monetary compensation, ordinary damages equal to actual loss but not for indirect loss. Special damages decided at the time of contract entered. Exemplary damages granted only in case of breach of contract to marry or unjustified dishonour of check. Nominal damages where there is no loss. Damages for inconvenience or delay. Liquid damage and penalty. Liquid damages are equal to the actual loss. If more than actual loss, it is called penalty. Payment of interest. Payment of interest is permissible as per the law if not decided. Court may grant relief if the interest is in the nature of penalty. A special performance where the damages are not adequate remedy. Where damages, monetary damages are not an adequate remedy, the court may grant direct the party in breach of contract to carry out the performance according to the terms of the contract. Not granted where damages are adequate relief, contract is of personal nature, not possible for the court to supervise the performance, and the contract is ultra vires to the company law and the memorandum of association. Quantum, a suit for quantum merit. Quantum merit means as much as earned. When a person has done some work under a contract and the other party repudiated the contract, means cancel the contract or deny the contract to perform, or some event happens which makes the further performance of the contract impossible, then the party who has performed the work can claim the remuneration for the work he has already done. Suit for injunction, stay order of the court, where a party does something which he promised not to do and doing that. The court may issue an order prohibiting from doing so. I think now it is clear for all of you. A contract with neighbor is social. Please clear me. But listen. Your question is whether contract with neighbor is social. But depends on the nature of contract. If you are saying, please give me some sugar, that is the nature of social. You are taking sugar and giving sugar. But if your contract is legally bound to purchase some goods from that neighbor, it is a legal contract. I have discussed beta what is the meaning of injunction. Harnoor is asking, sir, I was asking, मेरी पार्टी ने दूसरे को पैसे दिए क्योंकि वो 50 किलो नहीं दे पाया, उसने पैसे क्यों दिए? क्योंकि दूसरी पार्टी पहले ही पे कर चुकी है. आई थिंक यू आर आस्किंग, जो मैं समझ पा रहा हूँ बेटे, कि जो 100 किलो चावल सप्लाई करना था लेकिन 50 सप्लाई कर पाया, और 50 के बाद क्या हुआ कि कोई लॉ चेंज हो गया तो सप्लाई नहीं कर, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वॉइड हो गया. ये बात में समझ में आ रही है. दूसरे को पैसे दिए, बेटा मुझे अभी भी क्लियर नहीं हो रहा आप क्या पूछना चाहती हो. स्पेशल परफॉर्मेंस आई डिस्कस बेटे. प्रीफिक्स डैमेजेस यानी प्री डिसाइडेड डैमेजेस. स्पेशल परफॉर्मेंस मींस व्हेन मॉनेटरी कंपनसेशन इज नॉट सफिशिएंट, तो वो पूरा करना पड़ेगा जो काम तय किया था, कुछ भी हो जाए आप उसको डिनाई नहीं कर सकते. ठीक है, तो लेट्स स्टार्ट द सुपर ओवर. Question number 1. A contract to marry B before the agreed date of marriage. A contract to marry B before the agreed date of marriage. A marries C. Here B is entitled to sue A for actual breach in express manner, anticipatory breach in express manner, actual breach in implied manner, anticipatory breach in implied manner. One question has been asked from your side, sir. अमित जी कौन है? अमित जी बेटा टेक्निकल सपोर्ट हैं जो पूरे को मैनेज कर रहे हैं. ठीक है, okay, I will take your queries after the super over. Next question. In case of anticipatory breach, remedies available to aggrieved party are: he can wait till due date, he cannot claim damages, he has no right at all, none of the above. You have to select the best one. Remedies open to persons suffering from breach of contract are suit for damages, suit for quantum merit, suit for injunction, all of the above. Send all the answer in one shot only, bachcho. Next, quantum merit means a non-gratuitous promise and as implied promise, as much as earned, as much as paid. Specific performance may be ordered by the court when court is voidable, the contract is voidable. Damages are an adequate remedy. Damages are not an adequate remedy. Defaulting party is not ready to pay the damages. Last question. An singer contracted with a theatre manager to sing a song. Due to her illness, she failed to perform the contract and she received 20,000 as advance. Now N must refund 20,000 and need not to refund 20,000. They must enter into new contract, none of these. Let's discuss the answers. First one, beta. A contract to marry B before the agreed date of marriage, it is an anticipatory breach in implied manner. Anticipatory because before due date, it directly not informed, just marriage will C. So it is implied manner. Next, in case of anticipatory breach, remedies available to aggrieved party are he can wait because this is only the right option, suitable option. Next, remedies open to a person suffering from breach of the contract, all of the above. All the remedies are available, damages, quantum merit, injunction. Next, quantum merit means as much as earned. Next, a specific performance may be ordered by the court when the court is contract is voidable. Damages are an adequate remedy. The answer is damages are not an adequate remedy. Last question. And singer contracted with the theatre manager to sing a song. Due to her illness, she failed to perform the contract. She received 20,000 as advance. Now and need to refund and must refund 20,000. Okay. So, सर अगर हमने 100 kg के लिए एडवांस दिया है बट हमने सिर्फ 50 किलो मिला तो और बाकी 50 नहीं मिला बिकॉज ऑफ एग्रीमेंट वॉइड हो गया देन आपको 50 किलो के पैसे वापस मिल जाएंगे ठीक है सर डज स्पेशल डैमेजेस हैपन रियल लाइफ पता नहीं दोस्त let's see the answers who is the first one who has given all the correct answer Miss Patel Kamlesh bhai second is Mr. Sakaldeep Paswan. Mr. Malay Beg. Mr. Navneet Matho. Mr. Turk Pathan Ajaz Khan. So congratulations all of you. And तो आज आपकी क्लास बहुत शॉर्ट है, आज क्लास जल्दी खत्म हो रही है, सेशन ओवर हो गया. Last class, next class will be the last class for Contract Act, and on class on Monday we will discuss the presentation, how to present in your exam. So be ready for that important class, the most important class on the Monday. But don't miss any class. So thank you so much. Hopefully you have enjoyed the class. You have enjoying the law. मजा आ रहा होगा लॉ पढ़ने में होपफुली. एंड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्ट हम कल नेक्स्ट क्लास में खत्म कर लेंगे. तो बी रेडी. थैंक यू सो मच. थैंक यू. ऑल द बेस्ट. अमित जी प्लीज